Greetings and welcome to today's conversation among candidates for official office in Vicksburg. My name is Charlie Mitchell. I'm from the University of Mississippi School of Journalism, and it's a real pleasure and honor to be here at the Carriage House at the Levy Street Warehouse. I will start off by thanking the sponsors, Cook Tractor Company, Bops, Patriot Motorsports, Golden Barge Lines. And just a couple of preliminaries, so you'll know how this will go. Candidates do numbers to determine the order in which they will speak. The guests are to remain silent and have silenced their cell phones. I've prepared the questions. Nobody else has seen them. Candidates will have up to 3 minutes to respond. Judge Tony Terrett is the timekeeper, and she has 2 flags. She'll hold up a yellow flag when 15 seconds remain, and a red flag when the candidate's time is up. As we close this afternoon, each candidate will be given 2 minutes for closing remarks, and we'll try to have the total time as close to 1 hour as possible. To begin, each candidate, and they appear on the platform in the order of the number that they drew, will have 1 minute to introduce themselves, share with us the office they're seeking, and anything else they want to say in 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Darrell Hollingsworth. I've been working on our downtown since 2001. In that time, I've redone 16 buildings, and now I think that the downtown is where it can stand on its own. We have investors who are actively pursuing properties, so I feel it's time for me to run for mayor and to focus my energy on other areas of our city. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Troy Kimball, and I'm seeking the office of mayor. I've served the city of Vicksburg over 16 years as a public servant, and I'm seeking this office now not to run against anyone or to state that things have not been done, but I think I bring a different perspective and a different set of eyes to the city of Vicksburg from the mayoral office. And from that office, I look to lead the city in our points that we need to address in our city that we need to have for our youth, not only for our youth, but for our economic development, for our infrastructure, for our crime, and enhancing the city of where it needs to be. There's been a good job that's been done. I just think we can do a better job, and I'm passionate about getting Vicksburg moving forward, and I look forward to this opportunity. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Mayor George Flatt, and I've been mayor for the city for about 8 years now, and I want nothing more than to continue on the path that we got to growth and development of this city. Let me just tell you about the election. I don't run against anybody. I talk about my accomplishment and what I can do for the future of this city. I applaud Sean Jackson, Willis Thompson, former police officer for the city of Vicksburg, Troy Kimball, and construction worker Darrell for challenging in this election, because when you challenge, you bring out the best of me, because they have been able to share with me some of the things that I might have been forgotten. The city hadn't been perfect, but it's been near perfect, and we're doing real good. Let me share with you today 2 things that makes me feel so good. COVID behind us, no mask. And today I got some of the best news I ever got in my life, is that for the first time, collection of revenues are up in every category. That's a testament for the leadership that I provided you.
Hello, Vicksburg. My name is Vicki Bailey, and I'm running for South Ward Alderwoman. I have a BS degree in Business Administration from Mississippi College. I'm a lifelong resident of this community that has worked for the city of Vicksburg for 24 years as a public servant. I believe and know that when you have knowledgeable and caring people at the forefront of decision making, you have an endless number of possibilities that will benefit everyone. Now, our city has the components to be a thriving and prosperous city for us all, but that's not the case. And I'm asking for your vote come June 8th to be your South Ward Alderwoman, because I know that we can do better, and I just know we can do better, and I'm asking for your vote for a person that would definitely work for you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Mansour. I'm a proud father of 2, Kennedy and Zane. I have been a small business owner here, a property owner, and your state representative for 10 years in Jackson. And I've had the awesome responsibility of being the South Ward Alderman for the last 4 years. Today I hope to lay out what the accomplishments were of the past 4 years and to lay out what is yet to come. Thank you.
Okay, the first question will go to you, Mr. Kimball. And we'll start off kind of on the positive side of things. What's the best aspect of life in Vicksburg? What do you tell people or companies that are thinking about moving here?
The best aspect of Vicksburg is our people. We think of infrastructure as utilities and things like that, but it's our people. We've seen through the ice storm and other things and other perils that we've faced in this city, how we come together. And when we come together, we see exactly what we can accomplish in this city. So we're unique in that aspect, but also our uniqueness about where we're located. Now, we have so much to offer. We're the only city in the entire state that offers rail that goes across the river. We have access to major interstates and highways right here. We could be a hub for so many areas that are larger cities that were only within 6 hours from us. But to sum it all up, it's going to be our people and how we come together and how we actually dig down when we have to. But what we're looking to do is to show that when we have these adversities, when we have these things, not just at that time, but we need to show we don't need to fix the roof while it's raining. We need to show that we can actually drive and have industries here, and we want to actually promote Vicksburg, promote the positive side, as you just mentioned, of what we can do in this city. And once again, it's the people. And for us, we need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do for those people, not actually having areas that are lacking in one area. We talked about downtown a moment ago. We need to transplant downtown to other areas. So we're actually having these people that we say that you can come, but we need to have them already prepared and have our people in an essence to where they're proud and they're actually inviting others because they're being interactive and they're being active and promoting themselves in their own future. And so for other companies who want to come visit Vicksburg, we call ourselves the Red Carpet City of the South. We welcome them to come. Yes, we do. We have some things that have stained that carpet, but once again, when it happens, our people pull together and we get stronger. Thank you.
Well, first of all, let me just say, as mayor of this city, I've never been so proud of this city and what we have accomplished. That brings me back to when I ran 8 years ago. There were 5 cars on the streets of Vicksburg. All this prosperity we enjoy now is because of the collaboration and the leadership that I have recommended to this board. In 2 terms, I've never had a board so supported. This last board supported me 99% of the time. We are working in collaboration with the Board of Supervisors. We are strengthening ourselves. We have a name for ourselves now, and there's a new brand in Vicksburg. And that is that if you come to Vicksburg and enjoy the cultural, the tours, the education opportunities, and the work opportunities in the city, that you can advance. And so we created that pathway to economic success. And the greatest asset is people. I've never seen as many courageous people and people that are investing in this city like never before. Local people invest in this city. You know why? Because they have a better attitude about the city now. And we have to always have a great attitude about this city. I'll knock you out if you say something bad about Vicksburg. Because I believe in Vicksburg. I'm passionate about Vicksburg. I love Vicksburg. And because of that, I think we have transitioned this leadership to the people of this community. And then they're ready to go forward. So that's the reason why the past to the future is so important. Not George Flagg, personally. And I admit that I do have an ego, but it motivates me to do right and to do better. But it's about the people. It's about your future. It's about what you want to continue to do to make sure that we're more competitive. Any other city in this nation, not this state, this nation. And that's what I try to represent with boots on the ground. When we have ice storm, we have waterfalls out, I don't call, I go. And I give my number out because I want you to have access to me, 1, as your mayor, and I want you to hold me accountable, 2, as your mayor. And that's what I demonstrate. What you see is what you get.
Vicksburg, we have the place and the space, which is key for Vicksburg's stability as well as economic growth. However, we are not capitalizing on the assets that we have at our disposal. I realize that our systems are facing financial as well as operational challenges, our infrastructure, as well as our youth programs, beautification. A lot of these things can be better. Affordable housing, and I'm not just talking about affordable housing. When I talk about affordable housing, I'm talking about affordable housing for our teachers, for our nurses, for our police officers, for our firemen. People are having to work 2 and 3 jobs. Now, we talk about economic development, we have to get our human capital in order. We have a lot of people here, but they need to be retrained and trained in order to be able to get people to come and want to invest into this community. We have the people, yes, good people, talented people. But once again, we have to capitalize on what we have. And we have to be diligent and go after federal dollars that will help assist Vicksburg move progressively forward. We're moving, yeah. But there are so many more things that we can do and need to do. We need to be proactive as opposed to being reactive.
Vicksburg, I will tell you this. When I came over from the state legislature, I arrived in 2017. There was trash everywhere on the streets. There was grass wasn't getting cut. We didn't have the job production that we wanted. So this board, this current board, put a plan in action. And what we did was we corrected all those things. We made Vicksburg, as I say in every one of my advertisements, Vicksburg is a great place to live, work, and play. And we have to be positive about our city and positive about our leadership. Over the last 4 years, we've helped create over 812 new jobs here in the city of Vicksburg and Warren County, with an annual payroll of over $32 million. We have more jobs available than we've ever had before. Before the last forum I was in, I called 16 companies. We had 243 jobs open, anywhere from $18 an hour to $8 an hour. And if anybody ever wants a job, they can call my office and I'll put you in contact with those people that have those jobs open currently. We have taken every recreational facility and we have remodeled it. Every one of them. I have 17 community parks in all the neighborhoods in Vicksburg. But we have a $25 million sports complex, second to none, anywhere in the state of Mississippi or in the southeast. We've invested $1 million in our tennis facility. When I got here, we lost a week-long professional tennis tournament because our bathrooms were not ADA qualified. We fixed all that. Vicksburg's growing. It's growing in the right direction. The future's bright. And I think the leadership we've had has been great. It has been about a 99% approval rate between us. We don't argue, we don't fight. Vicksburg is, in my opinion, the greatest city in the state of Mississippi. Thank you.
Well, whenever I started downtown, I thought it was too beautiful to leave. A lot of the stores were in disarray or had lacked maintenance or anything on them for years and years. So Vicksburg holds a special place to me, and I see the vistas that we have here are unequal to anybody. We have beautiful vistas of the river. We have many modes of transportation to get goods and services back and forth. I enjoy watching the towboats go up and down the river each day. My back view is this Yazoo Diversion Canal. And before I sat on the balcony looking at that vista, I had no idea that many boats come by every day. So what would I tell people that were moving to Vicksburg? We have some of the lowest real estate prices, I think, anywhere around. I think we have value for your dollar. We do have some issues that need to be fixed, such as infrastructure. Infrastructure, I think, is my strong point. With my background, I think that I could take the infrastructure and turn this city around. I look at it as the foundation for the city. And without a strong foundation, you can't build anything strong. And if you looked at the census report, our population has been declining the last 10 years. In order to get that turned around, we have to start with a strong foundation. We have to fix our infrastructure to grow this into a great city, something that our kids and our grandkids would be proud of. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flaggs, this one comes to you, and flipping the coin. What is the single most serious challenge the city of Vicksburg faces, and how should it be addressed?
Charlie, let me just say this. You couldn't have asked a better question, no better question and no better time. The most single challenge to this city is crime. I admit it up front. We can do much better. We've done better in our adjoining cities, but we can do much better. And I have every intention to fix that. And I'm ready to fix it by recruiting and retaining honest and hardworking police officers in Vicksburg, while I emphasize on the practice of community police, real community police that gets out in the street and understand who lives in the neighborhood and what the culture of that neighborhood and how to solve the crimes in that neighborhood. And then yes, I want to create a job for homicide and prevention of juvenile crime / gang violent crime. We need it. Truck Emma, one of the best I ever seen in my life as police. He knows police. I would love to have him on my team because you know why? I'm gonna start recruiting the best. Not like the past, I want the best police officer. I want them in the best position. And I want them to work for one city, that's all. They don't need 2 jobs. I want them to pay them the best. We can do that with these revenues that are coming in now. But a guy like Troy Campbell, I want him on my team. I want him working. I want him working where he has the best expertise. And then I want to be able to go out to Jackson and other places and find those same type of police. And I want to have police that be trained to understand our community. Vicksburg don't have 25,000 people. This should be hard for us to know. I know just about everybody that lives in every neighborhood. And I want, and I promise to God, I want a Vicksburg that's safe and safer than any other community. I'm tired of the gunshot. I live on Savannah, but I hear them from Main Street. I hear them all over the place. Grandmama can't sleep at night. And besides that, the loud muffler, they got to stop. I'm going to provide you the leadership that will bring you this, because now I understand exactly what it is. But then you look at this challenge. It hadn't stopped our growth. It hadn't stopped us from enjoying the quality of life like other cities. We don't have the kind of crime like other cities have. Other cities have those kind of crime, drive-by shooting, where you just random shoot. Just go down the community, just pick a community and start shooting. No. Most of the shooting that have taken place in this community, the perpetrator knew the victim. All the police officers in the world can't solve that. You'll have the National Guard to try to solve that.
As I said earlier, Vicksburg has all the right components to be a thriving and prosperous city for us all. But that's not the case. The reality of the fact is that we have a lot of people that are struggling and hurting in this community. And they feel that they do not have a voice. And they're going without hope. Now, we can be oblivious to the fact that these issues are happening, but see, their issues and concerns is affecting the city of Vicksburg well-being. Now, we can sit back and do nothing, and the longer we sit back and do nothing, the worse things are getting. Now, it's up to us to be leaders and as a team to step forward and assist. Now, we all have the same common goal here in the city of Vicksburg. We all want to live and enjoy a good life. And we want to be able to provide for ourselves as well as our families. Now, you got a lot of people, in other words, not to their own account, but because of the economy and because of the pandemic, we need the help. As a human being and a citizen in this community, we owe everybody that.
I would say it's a combination of two things. The mayor touched on crime, so I'm going to leave that alone. Everybody knows that. But I'm telling you, the infrastructure is going to be the largest investment we're going to have to make in the city of Vicksburg for multiple reasons. Number one, I ride the roads every day. I go out there and I see what's wrong. I see people that our infrastructure is so old, it's over 100 years old, and you know, the roads are deteriorating, they have to be fixed. We have inadequate utilities sometimes. We got turned down for a plant to come to Vicksburg because they were afraid we couldn't supply enough water to them. We have to fix the infrastructure because at the end of the day, if we want the industries here that pay the top dollars, we got to have the infrastructure to get them here. And one of our main concerns and one of our main objectives as the mayor and board of aldermen is that we get the facilities and all of the roads and utilities in line so we can serve the people. Because at the end of the day, the people that pay the taxes are the owners of this city. They are the bosses. We need to remember that. We're elected to guide that system and hopefully do the best job we can. But they're paying the taxes, and they demand to have the infrastructure, the quality of life, and we've been working towards that for the last 4 years. We have absolutely spent a bunch of money. We've had over $210 million invested in the city of Vicksburg. That's not us. That's people coming in here and investing that money in Vicksburg in just less than 4 years. That is phenomenal. It's never been done in the city of Vicksburg. So there's where we have to do. We got to get ready for the next load coming in and get this infrastructure under control. And everybody's having the same problem in the state of Mississippi. But we need to be first, we need to fix it, and then we'll get everybody here. Not only people living here, but people to work here. Thank you.
I would say crime is our biggest issue. And I would just start by saying that our police force is at the lowest level it's been in the last decade as far as staffing and trained officers. So that would be the first thing I think we should fix. And if you look at the national, what they say you should have as far as police officers per 10,000 people, Vicksburg should be around 42 police officers. But we are so spread out. We are spread from the north to the south end like none of our other neighboring cities. So with that being said, we have to have an increase in police force. Every day you watch people that are speeding, drag racing, running stop signs, littering. We have citizens that are shooting each other, breaking in and stealing, robbing and stealing cars. And our focus has been on cameras with a blue light on it. And I don't know what the stats are, but I would love to know how many people we caught with blue lights. How many people have we caught with the police force riding around at night with their lights on? Is there some high-profile citizen here that we don't want to catch? Why do we ride with our lights on? I don't understand that. But I think we should catch the criminals and do the right thing, whatever that is. Put them in jail, whatever you have to do. Write the tickets. But crime is out of control, and I think a strong police force is in order. I think Walter Armstrong, when he was here, had things under control a lot more than they are now. And we just gave him the key to the city, but I bet it doesn't fit a single lock. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank Mayor Flaggs for I humbly accept the accolades that you gave me about police work. That is my passion. However, we look at crime. Crime is a catalyst or a driving force that would drive any community's economic development or other ventures down. You look at statistics that people look before they try to come and want to invest into a city. They look at crime stats. Now, when I was an employee of the Vicksburg Police Department, as the mayor mentioned, we didn't have these type issues. Not that it was just me, not that it was just Sandra Williams or Chief Armstrong, as you mentioned. It was a team. But that team was dismantled. It was dismantled. And I'm still at a loss as to why it was dismantled, but it starts with leadership. Now, when you talk about leadership and when you talk about crime, I'm an instructor at the academy. And when you talk about leadership and you talk about crime, your subordinates are going to take on your habits, good or bad, in any aspect of any part of business or whatever. But we have to get back to the root of the problem when it comes to crime. And it's not just locking people up. It's about getting out in the community, community policing, getting out and getting things done on the forefront, proactively in the community, not just arresting our youth, not just arresting other people, not figuring out the root of the problem and getting to it. Now, we talked about things that has happened and can we fix it overnight? No, we can't. But it's going to take an effort, a collaborative effort from everyone as far as crime goes. Now, with my experience in crime and fighting crime and doing those things, I know one thing. And in that one thing, it starts at leadership. Now, this board, and this is not an attack by any means, but I want to understand the facts of it. This board took on the knowledge or took on the effort to change the charter to where the mayor is the only person that has the autonomy to select the police chief. The other board members have to vote on it, true enough, but the mayor has the autonomy, once again in leadership, as police commissioner for selecting that person. Now, I was at the chamber luncheon the other day and I had the privilege of listening to the mayor's speech, and one thing he mentioned, if re-elected, he has 5 veterans that are ready to come back. Crime is right now. If we have people that we can hire right now, let's hire them. Let's get them in and get them working. We talked about people coming back to this city, working. We talked about salary. Why do they have to work? Why do we have to work 3 and 4 jobs in law enforcement? When I first started in law enforcement as far as crime, $12.65 an hour. Okay? Now it's $14. So in 16 years, we've only increased the salary for our. I just want to do one quote by Steve Jobs. And it says, if you want to hire great people and have them to stay working for you, you have to let them make decisions, not hierarchy, but ideas. We have to get back to making sure we're following what we need to do for our people and getting this city safe again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bailey, you're up first on this question. Vicksburg is in the somewhat unusual position of being the only incorporated city in a county. What is the current level of city-county cooperation? Can it or should it be changed or improved? And what will it take to make that happen?
Collaboration is everything. And we all have the same common need. I mean, you can have a county without a city, but you can't have a city without a county. So we are actually being double, we get double of the benefits. And with that being said, a prime example, I'm gonna give you a great example. The city of Vicksburg is in the midst of building a pickleball court. Now, we were given 2 options. We can build a pickleball court here in Vicksburg, or we can build a pickleball court in the county. It would cost $20,000 to build it in the county, and you would have 8 courts there. And you could have built additional tennis courts here for the city of Vicksburg, or a bubble. But once again, we did not collaborate and go and use that means of collaborating and cohesiveness and effective, efficient use of taxpayers' dollars. Now, city of Vicksburg, that's what we're in need of. The city and the county, the schools, the districts, everything. If we collaborate our resources and our energies, we can get a decrease on crime, we can be more prosperous, we can get more beautification and things of that sort. But yet, we are somewhat of I got mine, you get yours, but if we all work together we all achieve more. We hear that cliche all the time, teamwork. And that's what it's gonna take. An open relationship with the city and the county to go forward and move forward so that this whole community can be prosperous and grow. But once again, as they said earlier, Poverty breeds crime. And until we address that issue as people, we will continue to be where we are, this side doing that, this side doing that. We are a diverse community, and we need unity now more than ever. So if the city and the county would join forces to do some things, it would be even better, especially as it relates to our youth.
Well, I'd like to address the pickleball issue because that's kind of my baby, because when I got here, we had the bond money and we had to spend the bond money and was directed to spend the bond money in Halls Ferry Park. Now, through the legislature, I can tell you that when they write it in law, you need to follow the law. And so the $20,000 to build it over there with, I don't know, I rejected all bids in the first go because it was over my budget. And the one thing I did was change one thing in there, so I thought maybe we could get the bids and get it under budget. And that was that the city of Vicksburg would be responsible for doing the concrete walkway out there, that's around it. So we pulled that off, we changed it, made a change order. We put the bids back out there, but it cost us $30,000 just to do the concrete work around the thing. I don't know where they're talking about $20,000. Because if you do the courts right, and you do it professionally, and they deserve just as much as the tennis courts up there, then you need to do it right, and you need to get the specs, and you let people come in here and bid. We had 4 companies bid on it. So we took a low bid, and we let them do it. And now, the senior citizens in the city of Vicksburg will get their pickleball court. They deserve it, just like the youth does, to go out there and be out there in a COVID-free environment, mind you, because you're outside, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. Now, to get back to the government, I would say we are going to have some discussions on this form of government. We really will. And I've discussed it with the mayor many times, but we couldn't do anything where we were then. We would be putting something on the new leadership coming in, trying to figure it out. So we are looking at the form of government. I will tell you this. When I got here, it was very contentious between the supervisors and the mayor and board of aldermen. One example, we got right now over 400 jobs in Warren County because the board of supervisors would not put up the $200,000 where MDA would match with $2 million to get those jobs. They wouldn't do it because they said we shouldn't help the companies come in here. I got news for you. If you don't help them, somebody else will be getting them. And those jobs out there that are paying $18 an hour right now, out in that series, we wouldn't have them. But the mayor and I decided, because of the contacts we had in Jackson, we would go have the conversation and see if it was okay for us to put it up so we get the jobs, and we did that. Thank you.
I would say yes, we need more cooperation between the Board of Supervisors and the city. And yes, I would pursue that. I would sit down and discuss things with them. As far as one of the areas I'm most concerned with is the tax abatement. I would like to expand the tax abatement to everybody in the city, and that would have to be approved by the Board of Supervisors. But I think anybody that moves to Vicksburg and buys an old house or builds a new house, if they spend $150,000 on that house, I think we should abate their taxes for the first 7 years. I think this is a way to grow our city. This will improve our declining population. And I think the Board of Supervisors already embraces it. So I think that would be a simple solution, and it would definitely head off two of our problems, our declining population. And for example, when I say tax abatement, let's say you come to town and you buy a building that, well, I'm going to tell you some of my experiences because I have used the tax abatement process on some of the buildings in downtown If you bought a building that was worth $150,000, let's say the taxes on it were $1,600 a year. Well, they would abate that before you start work on it, and then after you spend the $150,000 or whatever it is you spend, then they wouldn't go up on your taxes for 7 years. So your taxes, mine in the past, have gone up as much as $7,000, and when you subtract what you were paying for the first 7 years from what you're paying after the 7 years, it's a savings of about $20,000 on a $150,000 investment. So I think it's a useful tool, and I think that it's something that we could use. You know, the city and the county, with the fire departments and the ambulances, I think we already have some agreements in place on that. Thank you.
Anytime you can have a working partnership, things do get better. And anytime, and I would love to have that type of cooperation with the county and the Board of Supervisors. You look at everything from, as Mr. Hollingsworth mentioned, from public safety, the fire, the police, and the sheriff's department, things like that. Even looking at the jail. From that perspective, we send the city inmates to Issaquah County, to Adams County, to Claiborne County, to Madison County, to all around the state. But that money, if we're collaborating with the county, we have this, that stays within one county, within those tax dollars stay within here, and not $1.1 million to Issaquah County in a year's time, and otherwise. But also, you're looking at this board. I've had people ask, well, why can't I vote in this election? Well, we know because of your residency, you cannot. However, the decisions that are made by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen will affect county residents, especially those that operate and own businesses within the city. So having things where we're collaborating with the county and we have a partnership in there, we're having their interests as well as the city's interests in there. So yes, I'm not going to take all of my time with this, but yes, collaborating with the county and having the city funding efforts together, especially with taxes and things like that to pay for these facilities and bond issues and things like that, we need to make sure that we're getting the best bang for that buck when it comes for city and county both operating one Vicksburg, one county. Thank you.
Well, first of all, Charlie, let me answer some questions on the front end. I don't think the relationship between the county and the city can be any better. There's great collaboration and cooperation between the two. For instance, talking about the jail, I tried to help them in the last administration. They didn't want me to help. Because of that, the jail now is going to cost about $7 million. You know why? Because construction costs gone up on a jail $500 a square foot. Now, having said that, I'm still willing to work with it. Let me do some fact check right quick. Because everybody talks about abatement. The tax structure in Vicksburg and the people that pay taxes on home, the ownership is about 35%. So if you do a abatement citywide, it's going to hurt your city. You know who's going to make the money? The people that rent the house. Who's going to hurt? The people that are renting the house. The people that rent the house, the runner, is going to make the money, but the rentee, the person that's going to live. If you take $150,000 and invest in a house that costs $40,000, how much do you think that rent going to go up? That's the reason why this abatement was designed in the legislature when I was in there, to do reconstruction or new construction in historic districts to stimulate the economy within the city, the urban area. It's easy to say these things, but when you do the fact check, it don't work. Do you know how many, the percentage of people that 65 years of age live in the city, David? Guess what? They don't pay homestead exemption. We have to absorb that. Our revenues come from sales tax. So we have to be careful with how we say these things. Because, now, it's easy. Darius made a fortune downtown. And we helped him because he comes in with a construction cost that is lower than the appraisal cost. And when he does that, the fee is cheaper. But when he gets ready to get his appraisal, he gets more value. And I understand that. I want to continue to help Darius be a downtown. I want him to go out in the area and help me with some of these houses. Now, Troy, and then on the 42%, 42 police officers, about 59 of us, we way beyond. Police shortage is not an issue in Vicksburg. But Troy, let me just tell you something, because the number one question coming to me about you, that's the thing. I love you, George, as our mayor. Of course, I like Troy, and I know Troy is a great police officer. So if you become mayor, what do you think Troy ought to be able to do? Create a job. He's the best in the business. Now, if Troy don't want that job, I'm gonna get the next best in the business. But they asked me the question, so I created the job for Troy. Because he's the best in the business. People like him as a police officer. They would love me as a mayor. So I'm just telling you, the position is there. I'm just doing what people ask me to do.
If we can do this one as a lightning round, we'll probably be able to finish within our 1 hour thing. So this will be the last question, and it will, before your closing statements, and it will go to you, Mr. Mansour. Many cities in Mississippi and indeed across the nation would envy Vicksburg due to the millions of dollars added to the budget by casinos, money that doesn't have to come from property taxes, sales tax rebates, fees, and such. Are you satisfied that the city's casino revenue is being allocated appropriately? Would you make any changes?
Well, once again, through the legislative process, that's what's been done, and it's there, we're getting it. But let me say this, okay? That's a good question, and why they envy Vicksburg. But that's not the only reason they envy Vicksburg. They envy Vicksburg because we have multiple tourism policies. So you asked me that would be a procedure we have to go through. We had to get with our representatives and senator, and we would have to renegotiate that. But here's the deal. Every day, we get up, or I do, and I try to figure out how to get another person to the city of Vicksburg. And whether it's a pickleball court, or whether it's a tennis court, or whether it's the casino, or whether it's the military park, or one of the 17 museums we got here in the city of Vicksburg. That is our goal. That's why we are envied by everybody else, because when we bring these people in to play a pickleball tournament for 2 days, they come here, they deposit the money into the hotels, into the restaurants, and into our stores. Then the next week, I got to figure out something else. I got to figure out how to get somebody new here all the time. That is how our money is derived. We are going to do it through sales tax and the tourism that we use. That's why we're envied everywhere. And I will say this, I want to go back to what I was talking about on the Board of Supervisors. We now have a great Board of Supervisors that's working with us great now. Just in the past, we had that contentious deal in 2018. But, you know, just getting back to that, that's going to be a lengthy process that you have to go through. And you got to remember, do we want one of them pulling out and leaving because we're changing something, or do we want to capitalize on what we've got and do a better job physically, and also figure out how to get more people here every day into the city of Vicksburg to spend money? I'm doing it with cornhole. You know, people don't think that's a big deal. We had 70 people from 3 different states in Vicksburg this past week. And in August or September, we're going to have a 2-day tournament. That's what you do, is for us to figure out how we get somebody else to pay for it. Because we have not raised taxes in the city of Vicksburg since 1986 on property, and we're not going to as long as I'm sitting in this seat. So we're going to figure out how to do it by sales tax, tourism, and industry. We're working it all. We've had the most successful board in the history of Vicksburg, Mississippi. You don't have to take my word for it, just check it out. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. The casinos, whenever they came to town, there was much discussion over, I can remember some of that as to how much money was going out versus how many jobs they were creating and how much taxes they would be paying. And the state set those guidelines, and we fall under that. Now, the casinos, if you wanted to get more money from the casinos, they need people. They have had job fairs and they can't find employees. They need help. we promote us as having a very viable, active workforce, but what I'm hearing is they cannot find people to fill positions. So I think that answers that question.
Certainly would. I was so in tune to what the mayor had just mentioned a moment ago that I didn't hear the question. So if I could have you to please repeat that question for me.
The gist of the question is, are you satisfied with how the city is spending its casino revenue? Or do you think it should be spent differently?
Well, from my understanding, I think it probably should be spent differently. We have the revenue that comes from the casino, I think, is used for other things, even for payroll and some other items that are going on. And I think if we had used some of that revenue initially for infrastructure and for some other things rather than floating payroll or floating this or floating that, I think we would have some of the revenue that we needed for the city. You know, I used this analogy the other day. I said something about when you take a flight and the flight attendant comes out and she gives you the spiel of where the exits are and you're here and you're there. But she also says that you need to, if you're traveling with a person or a small child, if you lose cabin pressure, what do? You put the oxygen on yourself first. And I think that's not what we did with that revenue. We didn't actually take that revenue and put the oxygen on Vicksburg first. And I think that has happened over the number of years. And so, and I understand that this board has done wonderful things, and they've done and brought us back to a rating that we needed to be in as far as credit and other avenues when it comes financially. But to answer that question quickly, no, I don't think we've used that revenue wisely. And I think we need to go back and restructure how we're using that in order to get things that we need in the city of what is provided for. Now, I would like to go back just a moment and address something here. I appreciate the job offer. Thank you. That was as if I was not sitting in this seat at where we are now, but contingently I am, and I'm running. But I don't want anyone in Vicksburg to just understand that I am just a police officer by no means. I've worked and had an IT business since the early 90s, or late 90s, excuse me. I incorporated my business back in 2018, and we started in 2008, and I've run as a project manager for multiple cities throughout the Southeast for data centers. I've actually got offered another job to go to Taiwan and work their data centers for Google. So not just as a police officer. So I understand that there's other things that I bring to the city, and the main thing that I bring to the city is leadership. And in that mayor's position or police commissioner or whomever, bring in leadership because it starts there. And thank you.
Well, Troy, on the front end, thank you. You still one of the best in the business. All right, now, let's get to the question at hand. First of all, the casinos can't afford a tax increase. When I first got there, the casino had a deficit in the impact of the city budget for the last 6 years. I turned around and told them to give me the means of that, and we plugged it in the budget, and we've been making for the first time in the last quarter, the casino tax have gone up. In fact, they've gone up 369%. But if you're looking for taxes to run a government, I'm not your guy. I don't believe in taxes. I believe in paying within the means. Everybody talks about all this about relationship matters, got criticized for taking pictures with certain people. But I've gotten you $59 million. You only have a $30 million budget. Do the math. You're accountant, Sheffield. That's pretty good, isn't it? To get $59 million from the state and federal government when you only have a $30 million budget. Now, let me say something else, because I'm on the road again. I was just talking to the governor on the day. They're talking about the infrastructure. Is that we're talking about an infrastructure bill, and they're talking about the economy. Look what I'm talking to the governor right now about. $100 million for a port, $15 million for Sirius Park interchange, because it's dangerous. People are dying out there in the interchange. I'm asking for Highway 20 interchange, 6-lane expansion. I asked for $300,000 for the city interchange here. That's the most dangerous intersection you've ever seen in your life, trying to get to 61 to the hospital. That's what I do. I go get money. I want to continue to do that. Now, having said that, when I'm not going to get money, I'm running your government. Well, I came here, they didn't have a Moody rating. That's a credit score line. We got it. I want to continue to help Darrell Holloway grow downtown. I want to work with him. I like him. I want the best I can get for Troy. And I want Troy to work with. And yes, I'm going to work with Sean Jackson. I'm going to work with Willis Thompson. I'm going to work with Darrell Holloway and Troy. Everybody that has challenged me going forward, because I've learned. They had not been bad for me. They've been good for me. See, I listen, I learn, and I lead. So I want to continue to have I just want them on my team. I just want to be mayor.
Vicksburg, I was just graduating high school when we got the casinos here. And the whole idea was, yes, let's bring the casinos in so that we can help out with the infrastructure in our schools. The money was supposed to be earmarked for infrastructure. And yet every administration that comes in, they tend to do something different with the money that was already earmarked. I have worked for the city of Vicksburg 24 years, and I know how the city is spending money. And at this point, it's time for accountability, and it's time for us to enforce what we have on our books and going forth in the city of Vicksburg. Now, Mr. Mansour stated that we have 812 new jobs. We have $32 million payroll revenue. Now, he said that we don't have a collaboration with the county, but I can guarantee you most of those numbers are from business that the county brought in. Now, we talk about all the fluff of 812 jobs, but what does that round up to? A $10 job for individuals. So do the math. Look at the numbers. It's a lot of fluff. We brought $812 jobs in. We got $32 million payroll budget. The sports force. We're looking at the sports force. Mansour, I was a part of the cohort. You were nowhere in the city of Vicksburg at that time. I was part of the cohort. That was already in the making before you got here. That $24 million investment. The improvements on all of the playgrounds was also done under my head, or under my direction. Now, I may not get out here and be able to do the fluff and with the speaking and things. I am a worker. I have great work ethics. I'm very resourceful, and the day-to-day operations of the city of Vicksburg is not being managed. And we need someone that's going to get in here and actually work and be proactive as it relates to the days-and-day interaction of what's going on in the city of Vicksburg. Now, we say about beautification. There's no beautification in the city of Vicksburg. We talk about tourism. We can do so much better. We have a rich history here in the city of Vicksburg, and we're not capitalizing on it. Affordable housing is not here. And we can say it all day. We got housing, we got this and that. It's not here. The proof is in the pudding. Look at what you see. Look at the communities. Our communities are regressing. And we say that we're thriving and things of this sort. No. We can say it all day, but if we continue to be oblivious to what's happening here, we will continue to be where we are. We're stagnant. And we have the possibility to be thriving in a prosperous city for everyone. And that's my heart. That's what I want to do.
Thank you. We'll move to your closing statements, and we'll go in the reverse order that we had for the opening statement. So, Mr. Mansour, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Well, let me say on June the 8th, it will be a defining moment for Vicksburg, Mississippi. We've done a lot. We still have a lot to do. Job growth, no new property taxes, fiscal responsibility, you name it, conservative values. You're not going to find anybody else out there doing that any more than what I do. And I will say this, that big $25 million sports complex would not have even gotten off the ground unless I carried the legislation through to let y'all do it. So anyway, I just want to be your alderman for the next 4 years so we can finish what we're doing. We've got an airport expansion. We've got a port expansion. We've already got the leases signed and everything. We're getting the details done on the waterfront improvement. I just wonder how people think we got $5 million to put that road all the way through here and direct that traffic off of Washington Street. That happened because of relationships at the Capitol. That didn't come because they just wanted to give us $5 million. Leadership is what counts, and I want to be here to lead this city into the next generation, and I'm telling you, it's a lot coming. Thank you.
My fellow citizens of South Ward, this campaign is about the future of Vicksburg. More importantly, it's a campaign about you. If you want a South Ward alderperson that will represent your issues, then vote for Vicky Bailey. If you want a South Ward alderperson that will that will be your voice, then vote for Vicky Bailey. If you want a South Ward alderperson that will be transparent, then vote for Vicky Bailey. If you want a South Ward alderperson that will keep you engaged, then vote for Vicky Bailey. Now, a vote for Vicky Bailey, what does that mean? We all have the same common goals, and together we can and we will have a Vicksburg that's clean and safe, a place where people can live, work, raise children, grow old, and enjoy recreation and entertainment. And then we will be a tourist destination. We're not those things right now. So I'm asking for your vote, because this election is about this community. And right now, a lot of people are suffering, and they're not happy. And until we include this entire community, we will continue to be where we are. We're stagnant. Yeah, we got some great things going on. Our youth, they're lacking in youth programs, affordable housing, our tourism, beautification is not there. And I am a worker bee, and I'm asking for your vote come June 8th. Thank you, and may God bless you, and I'm thanking you in advance for your vote, because together we will make a difference.
But first, let me thank my beautiful wife for continued support, and my friend Chauncey and my AA administrative assistant Sam for Assistance Day, and thank all of you for coming, and those of you that are looking. I thank you, all the candidates. I want to thank you for a great civilized dignity debate and challenge about the city. We all have difference of opinion about going forward. I have proven leadership. I'm proving to you that we're on the right pathway to the future of this city for prosperity and growth. I want to continue that. I want to continue to combine the expansion of the port. I want to create those 500 jobs at the port. I want that to become a reality in the next 4 years. I'm 68, so I'm going to get this stuff done. I want to redevelop the riverfront like never before. I want to complete the hardware building project in the city. I want to enhance the tourist experience so that we can all enjoy it. I want to expand retail business. I want to improve the infrastructure and recreation opportunity in the city. I want to do all these things in 4 years. Sometimes it takes that, and yes, housing. We're tipping it up right now. In Kings, Clifford Jefferson has been in 28 houses. Mark Smith doing 28, and then Coward is doing some in the Avenue. Then we got the houses coming downtown that are growing, the condominium like never before. The other condominiums are coming that won't have nothing to do with downtown. You know why? Because people beginning to reinvest in Vicksburg. You know why? Because when I took office, the first thing I said, we in business to stay in business. I've given incentive, I'm giving tax credits, I'm providing you the leadership to take this city forward in a way it's never been. If you want to continue to go forward, I'm your guy.
Again, I would just like to thank everyone for watching and being here and sponsoring this event. But I am not a politician, by no means. I am a citizen who's concerned about this city. I'm an officer who loves and lives about this city. But every 4 years, we wind up at this same point. We get here, we get political promises about things that are gonna happen, but positive action, not promises, truly promotes change. We have to actually pull the trigger when we're gonna do something. And I know there are things that have been working with this board, and by no means am I taking anything away from what has been done and what's being done. But I think that I bring a fresh set of eyes. I think I bring a different perspective. I think I bring a different way of how we can do things in this city. Not just in crime, but as in infrastructure, as in urban development, and other areas of the city. Because, yeah, we talk about egos, but as Harry S. Truman said, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you don't care who gets the credit. And so by me removing myself out of that equation and putting people in place around me, because no, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a engineer, other things. Yeah, I am a police officer. I am an IT guy. I do those things. But you hire and you put smart people around you that you trust that can build that team for you and work throughout what we need to do in this city. Now, by no means, again, am I debunking anything that has been done with the city and the current board. But what I would say, have you driven down Clay Street lately? Have you driven down Mission 66? Have you seen the growth? This is the worst that I've ever seen in this city as far as cleanliness and as far as upkeep. So yes, we are the red carpet city of the South, and yes, we do have some stains on it, and we're gonna have to work at this together to get it done. And that's what I wanna do. On June 8th, I'm looking to be more than just your mayor. I'm looking to be someone that you can come to, that you can address, and that I will depend on you and you on me and hold each other accountable for driving the city forward. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to, just like Troy, thank y'all for listening to us. But I think our city right now is headed in the wrong direction. I think our city's focusing on the wrong items. For instance, right now we have the inspection department that is carrying one of our merchants to court downtown because she has naturally occurring patina on her awning on the front of her store. 10 blocks away, we've got out-of-town apartment owners. The people living in these apartments, they can't cut their water off to the bathtub. It doesn't cut off. They have broken windows, broken doors, no fire extinguishers in their fire extinguisher holders, broken handrails, and we continue to let that happen. Where is the inspection department on the out-of-town folks? Second, we have to stop tearing down good houses. We're tearing down houses that are built better than what we can build today. In other cities around the country, they are doing public and private partnerships where they go in, and if a house has good bones, they buy the house, they go in and make repairs to the house, turn around and sell it for cost. This is great for couples who are wanting to move to town to start a new family, starter homes. And when you get those young people moving into these blighted areas where we're wanting to tear these houses down, this is what they need. They need to be turned around. And I would like to be your change, Vicksburg. I'll promise you I will be a proactive mayor and not a reactive one.
Okay, wrapping up, we want to thank the candidates, Mr. Hollingsworth, Mr. Kimball, Mr. Flaggs, Ms. Bailey, Mr. Mansour. We want to thank Judge Tony Terrick as an excellent timekeeper. We want to thank the people here at the Carriage House at Levy Street Warehouse and the sponsors for this event, Cook Tractor Company, Bops, Patriot Motorsports, and Golding Barge Lines. Thank you all, and remember to vote on June the 8th.
Thank you.
Thank you.